We're rolling with Dr. K. Dr. K. 100 responsibilities every day. We're rolling with Dr. K. Oh, Dr. K. 100 responsibilities every day.
Right.
Yeah, we're rolling.
All right.
I want to give a shout out and say thank you so much to my cousin for doing that. I asked her, like, hey, look, I need to pivot and I'm going to do 12 shows in a row. We need to change theme song again. And she just did it. So I am so, so grateful for that.
That's beautiful.
Yes. Talking about using your own. My
That's right.
daddy says a poor dog that don't wag his own tail.
That's
Well,
right.
I am wagging, wagging, wagging. That is my cousin. That's Patricia Saunders, and she is down in Georgia, which is also a swing state. If you are watching via GRTV 25, today is Wednesday, and it is the 16th of October, with about 21 days left until the election. We are committed here to get the vote out. 100 Shades of Diversibility improves the quality of life for persons with diverse abilities and their families, legislatively, economically, through community partnerships and education. Our biggest platform is being here with you guys twice a week live, but we are going to do this Tuesday through Friday until it is time for the election. We'll even be here on election evening from 4 to 5. And my guest will be Captain Kathi Williams of the Grand Rapids Police Department. And we're going to talk about what it's like to police during an upward type of election, such as this one. You know, we have Trump coming back. He was already upset about losing 2020. And then we had the insurrection that happened in January. So I'm sure there's going to be some uproar November 5th. And I am so excited. My guest is Kathy Harris. I mean, this woman has been making it do what it do since 2004, educating folks about their rights, the stakes that they have in their community, and the way that I like to call it an investment, is by voting. So I'm excited to have her here. She is a Black woman and she has braids that are coming down past her shoulders. Y'all know me. Y'all know me. Y'all hosts been here how many years now? Number 4. I have on my purple, black, and white. My purple glasses, of course, the lip gloss to match. Y'all know me, and got the glitter lashes to match. So around here we are inclusive. We just having a conversation among friends, Miss Kathy. How you doing today?
I am doing wonderful today. And today is just another day in the neighborhood, and I'm doing great. Thankful to be here.
All
And let,
right, Mr.
let me say
Rogers.
this to you before we get started. The purple, black, beautiful. The colors on you, you are beautiful. And
Thank you.
that you were saying it, because I was going to ask about the purple, and I see it. It is beautiful.
Well, hey, oh, she said hi, Dr. Kimmy. Thank you, Jessica. Jessica Strand is watching us. Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate you. Uh, the Lord gave me the mandate. I've always loved purple. I've loved it since I was a young girl. Thank you for asking about it. Since I was a young girl. And in my yearbook, which is over there from 1984, I don't think they do yearbooks anymore. I don't know. But back in 1984, we had yearbooks. And in my yearbook, everybody signed it to Miss Purple. I had already during our senior trip,
Okay.
while everybody went on the senior trip to the Bahamas, I was joining the military, raising my right hand. I was at the AP Center.
Okay.
So that's how I spent my senior year. was prepping to go into the military. So at 17, I had joined, and everybody said, "You're gonna wear a purple, navy bathing suit." And yes, I found one. It was purple and black.
All right.
And our first, they call it a respite kind of trip. We had been working, 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 and so our first trip to reward us for working so hard, we got to go to the Bahamas. So I said, look at that. Here it is a year later. I actually get to go where my senior class went. However, I didn't have to pay this time.
Hmm.
So I actually got to go to the Bahamas for free, and I enjoyed it. Thank you, Josie Jones, for tuning in. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And so,
It makes
when
that trip special when you can go for free.
isn't it though? It was really, really nice. It was really nice. I actually ended up getting a license tag from the Bahamas. So when I bought my first car, the front tag had the Bahamian tag on it. So you couldn't tell me nothing. I was just like, I was driving a brand spanking new sports car with a Bahamian tag on the front.
Was it? What color was it?
They didn't have purple at the time, so I got this. It was a bluish that when the light would hit it a certain way, it would look like a deep purple.
Okay.
But actually, I had cancer, and I started losing all of my hair, and I had it in several places, and one of them was in my head. So they started doing the head surgeries, and I had 5 of them. And when I looked at myself and I started seeing my head go away as they were cutting it out, they just kept making cuts longer, pulling the head back together.
Mhm.
And I looked at myself. I didn't like it. It was just, whew. So the Lord took me to Proverbs 31, and it says that she clothes herself in purple. And the Lord said, you need to see you as I see you.
Mm.
And you are fearfully and you're wonderfully made, regardless of what's happening to you. You're still beautiful. You're still you. Your hair does not make you. It's what's on the inside of you. And I was like,
Wow.
and
But
so
you are beautiful. You are beautiful.
I started wearing purple contacts so I could have the tangible piece. So when I looked at myself as I watched, because if you look, when I look down, you can see that half of my head is gone.
Okay.
And as I just watched it go, and they would put it in these big, huge containers, and I'm just looking like, oh my God. Yeah. So it was, you need to keep seeing yourself the way I see you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you put on the purple. So every single day I get up,
Awesome.
it's purple.
Yeah. And look at God. You're beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It took a moment, as you sit and you watch a part of you leave. And then when they finished the 5th head surgery, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. So then they came in and had another surgery. And then 3 months after that, I had a stroke.
Okay.
So I ended up in a wheelchair.
See, God has work for you. He's not ready for you yet.
No.
Yeah,
and then last year,
oh, thank God.
Then last year I had a stroke. I mean, not a stroke. I had I had a heart attack. So I've had a stroke, a heart attack, 5 head surgeries, thyroid cancer. I'm still here though.
God, he got work for you to do. And you're doing it through this program. So yes, this is just one avenue, but he's not ready for you yet. So thank God you're still here. And again, you are beautiful. I always tell people you have to have a certain kind of head to wear bald and be beautiful. And you have that. So
I'm surprised. I mean, if you had the conversation that the doctor was having, he had called in like 5 other surgeons to figure out how to do it, because I had what they call the mole surgery for cancer. So like most people get it done when they have like a little mole. So they cut like 2 or 3 times deeper and wider. But for them to do it for as large as it was on my head, they would have to take off all of my face, my ear, my neck.
Mm.
And so he consulted some of the top plastic surgeons to figure out how do we cut all of this, out of her head. So I'm grateful that he
Okay.
took his time.
Awesome.
Took his
Well, I tell
time.
people with me with these braids, this is my election due. I'm gonna wear this so that I get through because I do not have time working on my head right now during the election season. So I'm gonna hold on to this to after the 5th of November, and then I don't know what I'll do. But for now, I just get up and go. So I have to have the braids. So
And that's a great segue to the get up and go. The get up and go, and the get up and go and want to be able to vote. How do you do that when you're in a marginalized community and you're trying to figure out how to pay rent, and then you hear all of these little blurbs which are not kind about each one of the candidates? So it's kind of difficult for you to figure out, what do they really stand for? Who do I need to vote for? Does it even really matter whether I vote or not? Because are they talking about what matters to me? Because if I look at what matters to me, nobody's talking about disability issues at all. And so, when you look at the issues, how does this even affect me? Healthcare, Medicaid, Roe versus Wade. Where do I start to get up and go and figure out what do I need to do on November 5th? Or should I even show up at all?
well, let me go back a couple steps to let you know when we got started with Proactive, it was 2004. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was a union member, United Auto Workers, and I was the chair of our Civil Rights Committee. So the long story short is we had to get involved with community, but we also had to get involved with organizations that had the same mission that we had. So with doing that, I became a member of the A. Philip Randolph Institute. A. Philip Randolph Institute is a labor organization named after a labor leader, civil rights leader, known as the father of the civil rights movement, Asa Philip Randolph. And his mission then, and he started working in educating the Black union workers, and he organized the first union for Black workers, which was the sleeping car porters. And in that, he made them understand how important that vote was, that their vote counted, and that they needed that to help make things happen for their betterment. So that organization is a labor organization. It's a senior organization under the AFL-CIO. So having said that, I was a part of that organization, along with being a member of Pilgrim Rest Missionary Baptist Church, being a member of the NAACP, being a member of so many other organizations. I had to pull it together. And with doing that, I had to keep in mind everybody has the same mission. But my goal was to work on those marginalized communities. And so when I met in 2004, I had the idea of bringing an organization together, not knowing the name. I met with, I don't know, some of you may know Ingrid Scott Weekly.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes, Ingrid Scott Weekly was my first person I talked to about this organization. And she said, let's get together. Ingrid was working at the time, director of the EEOC for the city.
Yes.
We got together and we talked about this. So we brought some other community leaders together, we brainstormed, and we came up with this name. We agreed to move forward with the project, with the collaboration, and we came up with the acronym of PROACTIVE: people reaching out, actively coming together, increasing voter empowerment. And with that, we knew at that time elections were important, and it was during election season that we were doing this. Elections were important, but who's reaching out to those other communities or other parties that's our people that are not affiliated with either party? We had the Republicans, we had the Democrats, but there are people in the middle that didn't want to affiliate with either party, and then those organizations that could not work with those parties because of their 501c3 status. So those are the ones that we talked to. And then looking at the numbers, it was the communities of color, particularly the Black community, where the numbers were so low with voter turnout. So that was our focus. And at that time, we talked about presidential elections only. Well, that was fine for the presidential election then, and then the next presidential election. But then we started paying attention to, in between, nobody's getting out to vote. We're not getting those
Yeah,
numbers
those
out.
midterms. Yeah.
There's midterm elections. So then we started working on those over the years. And that's what led us up to this point. But I always give credit to it and have to mention our AFILA Randolph. But because of that organization is why I did this. Because that, in understanding the history of AFILA Randolph and his involvement with the labor movement, his involvement with bringing Black workers together, his involvement with knowing how important it was and making sure they understood what their rights were, led me to this. And to this day, we still carry out that same mission. So when you mention about having the two parties, we don't focus on that. Even though one party may not be saying what I want to hear, and the other party is saying some of what I want to hear, maybe not all of it, our goal still remains getting people to the polls. You have, and I tell them to this day, you have between now and November 5th to do some research, listen to some more. You can't believe everything you see or everything you read. So you got to kind of balance it out, do some research and make your decision. But if we're not registered to vote, we can't help anybody. We can't help ourselves. We can't help our families. We can't help our community. So that first step is getting registered to vote. And then we can talk about some other things. But so many of our people of color, especially our young people, still don't feel like it's important. And it is very much so. It's important because if you don't vote, you don't have a say so. And I have people that come to me and I ask them, are you registered to vote? And they say, no, I'm not registered. Well, I'm not going to have a long conversation with you because we don't have much to talk about. We can't compare our notes because you don't even know what I'm talking about. If you're not registered, it's not important to you. So I like talking to people that have a passion for this and understand the importance and know what we're talking about. Maybe I can talk to you for a few minutes and convince you that maybe it's important to you, but I'm not going to take a whole lot of time to try to talk to you about how important this is, because this is a matter that's affecting all of our families, all of our lives in one way or another. So to not talk about parties, we don't have to talk about parties. Let's just talk about getting to the polls. Let's get there first.
Right.
So let's format.
Shayna Thomas says hello. She is tuning all the way in from Bel Air, Maryland.
All right.
Thank you, Shayna. And Thurston says, Sister Harris is an awesome person. She reminds me of you, Dr. Barrington. She works very hard for the good of the community. Yes, she absolutely does. And
thank you. And hello, Shayna.
It is now 17 minutes after the hour, and you're tuned into Rolling on the Road to Victory, where we're doing 12 straight shows on Get Out the Vote. This is a necessary and a very pivotal election period this time. It is a presidential election, but not just because of the presidential election, but because of the issues that are on the table that are before us. We started out with Rudy on yesterday. Go back and watch the replay, and it was good. He's 30 years old, and he talks about, how he is registered to vote, has been voting since he was 18 years old, and understands the importance of that. It's your local officials that are making the choices, not necessarily all the way at the presidency, but it's important to vote for your local leaders. Do you hold that same thought as well?
Yes, it's very important for our local. It starts, all voting is local, so it starts at a local level. We need to make some decisions about the people that's running the city where we're living. Right here in Grand Rapids, Grand Rapids is so conservative. It's time for us to really start speaking up, speaking out, and holding people accountable. But those decisions that are made in the city that affects us, and right now, Third Ward has been left out. Third Ward is the Southeast side, predominantly Black community. We've been left out of the city for so long. At some point, our community needs to start paying attention to that and speaking up. I think now they're starting to speak a little bit more, but they need to hear us. Don't just listen to us talk. Hear what we're saying and do something about it. But if we don't hold them accountable, then we're still going to keep having what we have already, which is not much. So we need to start doing a better job at a local level and holding those city commissioners. Our city commissioners are on the ballot. Our county commissioners are on the ballot. Our mayors are on our mayor races on the ballot. Those are key people in the city of Grand Rapids. And so those local elections are very, very important. So when you start complaining about the parking tickets and the rates and the parks that's not doing these cleaning up and all the things that's happening in your city, this traffic and those roundabouts I've been hearing about lately, those are things that the city officials made a decision on and they left you out because you didn't voice your opinion.
And what you need to understand, you realize that 100 Shades of Diversibility is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Well, actually, we're in Byron Center, Michigan. However, uh, the election is the same in all 50 states. So, regardless of where you are, especially you, Shayna, you have to find out what are your local issues. What ward are you in? Every county is divided up into a ward. And then you need to look and see, well, which ward are you in and who's running for your ward. The one here in Kent County that is the largest with our Black and brown folks is 49507. And the way you do that in any city or county that you're in, there are monthly or quarterly meetings that the city manager, the mayor, your city clerks, you have your city commissioners, you have your county commissioners. They're going to have meetings. You can show up. There is a portion in every single meeting in every single city, every single county, and every single state. There is a portion where they open it up to the public and you voice your opinion. If you get 50 of your friends to come down there, they can be your friend, your enemy, your cousin, whosoever, but you get them all together and you guys show up and you speak. We have a comment. She says, my son and I have educated ourselves on it. We are ready. This will be the first time voting and he's taking it seriously. That's good.
That is awesome. That is very, very good place to start with your son. You go together. They've got to learn how to do this as well. But that local election is so important. So your son, hopefully he understands, and the two of you together need to understand the makeup of the city. So I'm saying this for everyone, not just for you, Shane, and your son, but understand. And if you don't know, don't hesitate to ask the questions. How your city is divided up. I had someone that's running for an office that didn't even know the boundaries of the seat that they were running for. So you have people. Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly. So if you have people that are in these positions that do not even understand what they're running for, who they're representing, what their boundaries are, it's a problem. But we don't know if we don't ask the questions. And so we need to make sure that we know those that are running and that they're there for the right reason.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got, the word that one of the persons that are running for one of the, important districts, they only want to be there for 2 years. And they've been saying that as part, I hate to use the word pitch, but it is, you are pitching the people, on what your views are. Well, if you're getting a local seat, most of them are for 4 years. So there is that expectation that you stay for 4 years. What are you saying to that? And the people that you're educating, to listen to where that person wants to go next. Is this a stepping stone for them? Or are we caring about the people?
At this right now, again, a recent conversation with a candidate that's running their business owners.
Yeah.
One of my questions early on in the conversation is, how many Black people, I didn't even ask for people of color, how many Black people do you have working in any of your businesses? And my answer was zero. Hold them accountable. So now you're telling me you want to represent people of color, you want to represent the Black people, and you have zero working in your business. That's a problem for me. And the explanation behind it was a poor explanation.
I'm sure.
It was totally unacceptable. And if that's a problem and you want to do something about it, then you should have been doing something about it before now. But you claim you didn't know anything about it. But you don't have zero, you have zero, which made no sense. But you're in this position. No one's asking these questions because it's about money. It's about power. It's about another line item on your resume or another, straw in your cap. But that's not the real reason why you're running to represent me in my district. That's a problem. But if we don't ask the questions, we don't talk to the people, we don't try to find out, we won't know these things. And then once they get in office and things start happening in their favor and we're still left behind again, it's too late. We weren't able to voice our opinion. Weren't able to vote. And we really need to do that and ask these questions.
Do you have something in your office that someone can take a look at, or do you have a website that you send people to be able to look at all of the candidates that are running?
We have voter guides. It's a newspaper that the League of Women Voters have created with the federal and state election. I would suggest anyone go to 411.org for any election information. We do not have anything proactive because we're distributing all the literature that we're getting from various organizations on voting rights. But I do know you can go to vote.org for information about your state. It'll direct you to your state. You can go to accesskent.com. It'll direct you to who's on the ballot and any information about where to go, where the polling sites are. So there are places, but the main one, the voter guide, 401.org is, I would say that would be the number one place to go for Grand Rapids area or for Michigan.
The 411.org, is that national or is that just local to Michigan?
That's a local, that's a state. I'm saying local, but it's a state. Why? Now, vote.org is a national.
Okay.
Vote.org is a national, and you'll find your state and you'll click the state and get the information you need. And while you're doing that, just made me think we had a person that we called that happened to have moved to Mississippi. And she had her phone number or local number. She still kept that number that ended up on our list. And she explained to us that she had moved to Mississippi about a year ago, but she had never registered to vote and she wanted to register. So I was able to go to vote.org, went to Mississippi, got her a ballot, printed it out, filled out as much as I could, put it in the mail in a self-addressed stamped envelope and send it to her so she could sign it and send it to her clerk office. Because we wanted to make sure that person got registered in Mississippi. I felt really good behind that, but I went to vote.org to make that happen.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
So I have vote.org, which is a national candidate directory. All right, thank you, Secrest. Secrest says, good looking out.
Yes.
Yes, we got you. We got you to do our best. And as you can see, I ran for state office and understand the importance. So there it is. Vote.org is the national candidate directory. Please go there. And while you are going through looking at the candidates, do not forget about your mayoral races. So if you are have a new mayor coming up, you have judges that are on the bench that need to be reappointed, or new judges that are coming up. Those are nonpartisan, meaning that they are not Democrat nor are they Republican. And so they're always on the other side of your ballot. So on the front side is normally the, Democrat or Republican choices for each category. And then on the flip side, you have your nonpartisan positions, which are judges. And you need to make sure that you check your whole ballot and check all those off. Again, go to vote.org, which is a national candidate directory, and you can find, put in your state. And then once you get your state, you can find, your city and your county and click all the way through there. We Google everything else, so we can Google this. Come on now.
You're right.
We spend all that time going through TikTok, laughing, passing that around. So take 15, 20 minutes of your TikTok time that you're passing stuff around. Take 15, 20 minutes out of going through your IG and passing stuff around. Y'all know the little funny guy that dresses like a woman, all the different ones. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He is hilarious. I just looked at one of his today as I was coming home. But however, I'm on the show and I'm giving y'all some good information. So you got to balance between the two. So the other day, I'm in the Uber, and my Uber driver says to me, I asked him, is he registered to vote? Yeah, I'm registered to vote. And I said, you feel good about the candidates? He says, I don't know the people. So I may have inadvertently voted for a Trumpster and didn't know. And I said, well, I can give you the information to find out about your candidates. I said, what district do you live in? He told me. And I said, oh, well, this is your state rep. I said, that's running for you in your district. I knew that off the top of my head. I said, and I know your county commissioner. I said, okay, well, I don't want all that. I only want to vote for the president. And I said, but you need to vote for everyone, the whole chain of command, not just the top of the command. Well, I don't want to do all that. Do you have a piece of paper? And I said, no, but I can give you a website. And I said, or you can take my information and I can send everything over to you. And I said, and then you need to share it. Oh, I'm not sharing it because that's not my responsibility. Sir.
It's all our responsibility. It is.
So we were in front of my home at this point, and he jumped out of the car, getting my wheelchair out and ready to get me up out. Because as a matter of fact, it's like as soon as I sat in the chair and I wheeled back a little bit, he took off. He didn't check to say, like, you okay? You good? I mean, I'm still trying to put the cushion in the chair, and he started zooming off down the street.
Mm.
What do you say to people like that?
Sometimes I have to talk to them and try to bring it home to where it affects them. It's not just about the president. And people don't understand the president only signs the laws. He doesn't make the laws. It's the Congress that makes the laws and writes the laws and pass the bills. The president only signs them. It's the same with the state. The governor signs the laws. We got our House reps and our state Senate that makes the laws for the governor to sign. And then, we talk about that. But then I ask them, what's important to you? What matters to you? If you have children, if you have parents that you're taking care of, if you need health issues, whatever, what's the issue? What's important to you? And then we try to talk about it from that level, because everybody has something, whether it's health, it's jobs or housing or children or something that we can relate to. So I try to bring it back home to them. And then at some point, if I can't get through that way, then I end my conversation. But I try to at least bring it to something that they can relate to. I was just before I got on the call, I left the jail. I go out there every week to have a voter education workshop, and we registered them to vote. And for those that I don't care, I don't want to vote. I always start with the children, because most of them have children, and you're here incarcerated. Your children are at home trying to get an education. What's going to happen when they take that education department out of the system and remove it from being one of the cabinets? And also, if the education, they're already trying to take the books away. If our children don't have books, if our children can't learn, how are you going to feel? In 5 years, we're going to need those children running this country, doing something. Somebody's going to have to step up to the plate. If they're not educated, we're going to really be in bad shape. And so I try to bring it back to something that they can relate to and have that conversation. And usually I can get through to them that way. I've been pretty successful with that. But it's sometimes you have to just end it and let them, because some people are just, you're not going to be able to change.
This is true. So I'm excited because I had the conversation just last Saturday with the lieutenant governor about this. When I told him that I wanted to do the show, I asked him what his thoughts were. And, is there anything in particular that he wanted me to talk about? What do I need to say? Because him and the governor are going around to all of the swing states and making sure that they're getting out the vote. And so he gave me some stories of, conversations that he's had just like you. And he goes, the biggest thing is, how are you going to convince, the question he said for him, he said a bunch of things, but the biggest one was, How do you convince those that are not voting to vote? And I'm going to have to report back. I'm going to say Miss Kathy Harris gave me the very best answer so far, because I'm keeping, score, is meet them where they're at and bring up an issue that affects them. Shayna has a comment. Oh, where'd it go? Is it coming? There we go. She said, yes, it seems if it doesn't happen to them, it doesn't matter until it does.
Exactly. Yes. Well said. That is well said. And you know, you have to meet them where they are. Our office is here on Division, 347 Division. And for those that are familiar with Grand Rapids, we're right in the Hartside community. The unhoused and the shelters are people right here on this corner every day, all day, holding signs, hanging out in Hartside Park, nowhere to go, needing jobs, having mental issues. I mean, there's the whole gamut right here. So everybody's making decisions on the southeast side, on the other side of town. They need to come down here in Hartside. We came in this office space in 2022. And after the election in 22, we decided to stay here because we made connections with so many people that trusted us. We let them just come in if they need somebody to talk to, just need a hug, just need some food or need a coat, need some gloves, whatever they needed. If we had it here that day, they could have it. We didn't care. And so we're doing that. I'm saying that to say we know the needs of the people here, but I'm not running for office. The people that's running for office, they don't know. They need to come down here and spend a day in the park. Go visit the people, talk to them. Don't be afraid. Some of them are afraid to talk to them because they're homeless or because they're holding up a sign, because they look like something's wrong with them. These are our people. 90% of the people down here are Black men.
Yeah.
We cannot be afraid to help our brothers. And so I have in working with me now, I got about 20 of them right outside my door that's working. And we're paying them for working. Now, this is temporary work, but it's giving them a sense of hope. It's giving them an opportunity to do something different, getting them away from the drugs, getting them away from the holding the signs outside. And I don't care, they may not smell the freshest every day. Everybody can't wear cologne every day. Everybody may not be able to take a bath every day, but we accommodate and do what we can to help the people. And that's what we have to do. I got all of them right now learning the candidates, watching what's on. We have different workshop series. We have them watching different things on, on YouTube or on the news. We just try to get them engaged. They're not used to this. They live at the shelter, so they can only watch and see so much. They're around the same group of people every day. They're not used to this voting stuff, but yet we need them to register to vote. We need them to go out and get to the polls on election day. I need them to help me with putting literature out and making phone calls and doing whatever they can do. But they are, they're here, and this is the only way that they can learn. This is the only way they can learn, is to not be afraid and get them involved and meet them where they are. So that's what we do. And I say that to anybody. They need to meet people where they are and not be afraid of them.
This is true. It is so, so true. I want to say thank you to Bernice Brazil, who is all the way down in Texas. Thank you so much, sir, for tuning in. Thank you for the love that you sent. And Shayna says, if you are afraid to go into the community, you shouldn't be asking for the votes in the community. We need to know who is representing us. You just don't show up when it's time to vote.
Yes. We need their vote. We need to not be afraid to talk to them. The ones that we are working on, going places where people are not ordinarily, or it's like, you hear the saying about preaching to the choir. I'm trying to reach those people that are not in the choir. I got to get those members, trying to get them in the choir. So I can't get them unless I go to them and talk to them and find out what kind of talent they have, and if they can sing. I can't sing, so it's easy for me to go and talk to them. But we can't be afraid of doing that. And I have a list of 22,000 unregistered voters in Grand Rapids or in Kent County. That's absolutely ridiculous. Now, I don't know how that list came as of August. 22.
From August, 22,000?
Yes. Now,
do you know how, look, wait a minute. I'm sitting here counting, like, do you know how many votes that this person, I'm looking at certain people, how many votes that they got, and they probably would have gotten more had those 22,000 folks been registered.
I sorted for one today in Muskegon. I think that was at 17,000 people of color unregistered in Muskegon. So that's a whole lot of votes. Now I know we can't get all of them between now and Monday, because Monday is the 21st is the last day that we can register out in the community. After that, we have to start pushing people to the city clerk's office so they can register in the clerk's office. But
Well,
between now and Monday, if I can get all 22,000, I would do it. But we
well,
got
we got two more. I got 2 more days. No, actually three. So I have Thursday, I have Friday, and I have Monday that we're going to have the conversation in time for community. But I mean, the conversation is going to continue to November 5th. But if you grab me some people who are in Muskegon, let's have that conversation tomorrow. I mean, that's how quickly we can move.
okay.
Get some more folks. Um, where you just have Muskegon, Kent County.
I
Do you
can
have,
my list I can sort it for any place. But I because my focus is in Grand Rapids, Kenwood, and Wyoming, and Muskegon, and some in Kalamazoo. I haven't done Kalamazoo as of yet, but we're trying to get as many people as we can.
so then we find somebody we can talk to for Muskegon. I'll just shift folks around because this is what it's about. We got to meet everybody where they are,
Yes.
and we got to learn how to pivot and
Mhm.
say this is what's most important. I mean, I've been doing the show for 4 years. I still have time. You know, it's not about personalities, but it's about helping the people. So if you get shift, I love you dearly. However, comma, it's about the people and getting them registered and having folks voting on November 5th.
And
That's what it's about.
it's like going to you mentioned earlier, this is a passion of mine. Once I get talking about this, it's frustrating to me because there's still so many of our people that's out there for lack of knowledge. But it's if we can go to those party stores, we can go to those fish markets, we can go to those hair stores, all these places where we go, we need to
Yep.
go there and catch these people that's not registered. Don't be afraid to talk to them. Go to the parks where we've gone down here at Hartside Park. I don't know how many times. I think they know us by name down here. But we go down there all the time. Or sometimes we'll sit outside and catch them walking up and down the street. But you have to do things that are not normal because
Mm-hmm.
again, we're not preaching to this choir. We need some more people. We got to get to other folks. We need to get to them and however we can. It's not always in the churches. First thing people say was check your members at church. Yes, we need to check with the members at church, but the ones that's not going to church, where are they at? If it's going to the skating rink, going to the bars, going to the strip clubs, or wherever you need to go to register somebody, that's what we need to do. Stand outside Popeye's chicken or chicken coop or wherever we need to go and get people registered. We've been doing that. We're at basketball games right now. My team is in Muskegon. They got to come back here and go to one of the schools tonight. Wherever we need to go, those alternative schools, in the jails, and the people that are incarcerated. Yes, some of them can still register to vote. The only way you cannot register to vote is if you are serving a sentence. If you are on parole, if you're on probation, if you have felonies on your record, if you're waiting to be sentenced, you are eligible to vote. We need to get those people registered. So if you're talking to people, I'm
Can
sorry.
you say that again? Repeat that again.
Okay.
Tell
And
your baby mama, your cousin, and them.
yep, all of them. If you are serving a sentence, you cannot vote. Period. Only if you're serving a sentence, you cannot vote. But if you have on probation, if you're on a tether, if you're on parole, if you have felonies on your record, if you have served your sentence and you're out, you just walked out today, if you're waiting to be sentenced, you are eligible to register to vote. On November 5th, if you are serving a sentence, you're behind bars serving a sentence, you cannot vote. If you are behind bars waiting to be sentenced, you can request an absentee ballot. You can register to vote and you can request an absentee ballot. So, as I mentioned, I just came from the jail. I had 3 young men at 18 years old getting their GED in a workshop. And they seen us and they wanted to talk to us. Never registered, never voted before. We were able to get them registered. So now they can vote. And all 3 of them will be out or they're waiting to be sentenced sometime in November, later on in November. They register to vote and they will be eligible to vote November 5th.
Woo!
Yes.
I love it. It is now 45 minutes after the hour, and we want to say thank you so much for tuning into rolling on the road to victory
Yeah.
is what these 12 sessions are called, because we are going to be victorious this election season. We're all going to be responsible to get somebody else, not just ourselves. We can no longer, just say us three, or us four and no more. It don't work that way. It doesn't. And your life might be wonderful and grand, but somebody next to you may not be doing as well. So you have to take that responsibility to help them, to educate them. And we're not voting political party, but we are voting about the issues. And if a particular party, is resonating with you on the issue, then that's who you vote for. I said that when I was running back in 2022. It was during a midterm election. And, a lot of people don't come out. But I think, for my district, we did more than 2/3 of the folks came out. There were 65,000 people in my district and 45,000 voted. That was excellent.
Mhm.
That's more than 2/3. And I'm glad for the votes that I did receive, because they voted based off of the issue, not my color and not my political party, because I am in Trumpville. That's the reality. I'm down here. It- I'm in the very heart of
Mhm.
it. Is where I live. We knew that it was going to be tough, but somewhere in there, I was able to reach 15,363 people.
Wow.
Because out of the 65,000 voters, registered voters that are in my district, only 1,500 of them were of color. I should say, because we only had one Asian, only three blacks, and the rest were Hispanic. So
Mhm.
that meant that the other 15,300 and some odd votes came from white people
Wow.
that voted based off of the issue. So
Mhm.
it can be done. I am a living witness. I,
Yes.
I don't know if you guys heard, a little bit about me at the very beginning, but that is why I'm here, to be able to change over 15,000 folks' mind. And the way that I did it was by doing this show. I did not have not one single solitary mailer. I did not have one single solitary, yard sign at all. They were not inviting me to come and speak. They were not asking me to do a debate. I asked for one. She declined. It's not a problem.
Wow.
And so I do what I do best. I did this show the whole time. I had an opportunity to talk about the different issues with the guests, that came on board. And 15,360 some folks
Wow.
voted based off of the issue.
Wow. And that's cute. That's huge. Congratulations. That's huge. But people need to understand that this election is not just about the president.
It's not.
Please understand, it's not about just the president. And my national A. Philip Randolph president, Cleola Brown, always remind us that even though we are nonpartisan, we are particular. And we are particular with those that are running for an office that is there to do what we need them to do for our families, for our for us, for me. That's our jobs, our housing, our wages and benefits. I mean, all those things are important to me. So it's not just, who's on the ballot for president. I got to think about those things that go along with that. Our
Mhm.
democracy at stake. Our democracy is at stake. We can't afford to give that up. We don't want this to be a dictatorship country. It cannot be. We have rights. Our people have died and fought, and the young people don't always want to hear about the hoses and the dogs and all the things that happened back in the 60s, because they got to relate to what's happening now. The police brutality, the gun issues, the drug issues, those things that they can relate to. Let's talk about those things with them, and while we're trying to get them to vote and get them to understand how important this voting is. It's fine for us to remember how many bubbles in a bar of soap and how they used to tell our people you need to know that number in order to register. But right now, the young people don't. They're not hearing that. They're not
No,
hearing. You'd be
no.
surprised how many young older people don't do not remember that was back in the day. Those poll taxes that our people had to pay. You know, I got a display here in our office of a jar of jelly beans. They want to eat those jelly beans so bad. But I told them you cannot eat those jelly beans because they're there for a reason. They're there to show people that this is what our people had to go through. Tell me how many jelly beans in a jar in order to register to vote. Who knows the right number to that? We didn't count those jelly beans. We just put them in there. How many seeds in the watermelon? You never cut the watermelon open. How do we know? We can't count the seeds anyway. But those are the things that our people had to go through to get to this point. We cannot afford to let it go back. And that's where they're trying to go. They're trying to head back to back in the day. We don't want to go back there. And I'm
No.
not saying this to bring light on either party. I'm just simply saying for me, I'm done with crazy. I'm done with the chaos. I'm ready to move on. So that's me. If you ask me who I'm voting for, that's the only thing I can tell you. Now you take it from there and you define that however you want to. But I can tell you, I'm done with the craziness. I'm tired. We got things to do. Our kids. I got my grandson 9. I got to worry about him graduating from high school. But if they take the high school away, I don't have to worry about it anymore, right? We don't have to worry about him getting an education. He can't read the books in the library. Now I have to worry about it. So I have to start doing what I need to do to protect that. So it's not about who's in president. It's about those other things that affect our families, and we got to be smart about it.
Thank you for the hearts and the caring emoji. Oh my goodness, it's just going up. We sure appreciate it. Uh, we learned on yesterday that you can't overvote, but you are allowed to undervote. Is that a true statement?
Yes. If you vote straight party, when you have your ballot,
Mm-hmm.
if you vote straight party, Republican or Democrat, just say you select a Democrat, you do not have to vote any more Democrats on that. So just color in that one bubble, and you've taken care of all the other bubbles, all the other Democratic bubbles. If you select Republican, you've taken care of all the other Republican bubbles, and you're done with that section. But what you cannot do is to vote. Um, you can vote. You can mix your party. You can vote some Republican, some Democrat. You don't have to vote all straight party. So you have that choice. Then on the other side, with the nonpartisan section, it says vote up to 3, and there may be 5 names on there. You can't vote for 5 people. You can only vote up to 3. That's when you start overvoting. Okay, because they're only so that's going to void that section because now you got 5 names instead of the 3 names that they told you. Vote for not more than 2, and you select 4. You've messed up. So now they can't count those votes. So when it says vote up to that number, stay with that number. You do not have to vote for all. Okay, so I'll say 5. If there's 5 people on the ballot, vote for up to 5. If you choose to only vote for 3, it's okay. You do not have to vote for all 5. You can vote for 1, you can vote for 3, or you can vote for the 5. But you cannot vote for 6 because now you've messed up. So we have to read and stick with that. But that's so that can spoil your ballot.
This show is a great way to bring awareness to voting and how important it is. Thank you, Shayna. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Shayna. And I will say Michigan has really put voting on the map. We have some of the best since 2022 election and all the things that were passed and changed to allow us to have access to the ballot. It's a model for the rest of the country. There are things that we're doing that other people are not doing. We can register people now at 16 years old. 16 to 17 and a half can pre-register. They cannot vote, but they can register now so that when they turn 18, they're automatically in and they will automatically get their ballot or their voting card.
I love it.
When you leave jail, you automatically get registered to vote now. When you leave, you have to tell them that no, I don't want to register. But if you don't request not, and it has to be in writing, if you request not to be registered, you're going to be registered anyway, regardless of if you don't ask to, they're going to take care of it. But then you tell them, no, I don't want to be on, I don't want to accept it. You have to write that and send it in. But you're going to be registered to vote.
Look at God. Look at God. I
Remember
mean,
absentee ballots? If you are on the absentee ballot now and you signed that absentee ballot request before May of 23, you have to always request another one every election. But now you can put on your name on the permanent absentee ballot and you never have to fill out an application. And every election, you automatically get a ballot. Simple. Stay at home and vote. Our early voting starts October 26th. We have 9 days, at least 9 days in Michigan. Some cities are doing more. Detroit, I think, are doing an extra week. So what is that? 16 days early
yeah.
voting.
Mm-hmm.
But in Grand Rapids, I know we're doing 9 days of early voting. So starting October 6th, we are opening up the doors, start voting early. We have Proactive is coordinating 4 parties at the polls. We're trying to increase the voter turnout early. Our Souls to the Polls, October 27th. That's going to be at Ottawa Hills at the polling site, October 27th at Ottawa Hills. So we're just trying to do creative things to get people to the polls because we want you to vote, vote, vote. It's so important.
And if you are not in the state of Michigan, please contact your city clerk to find out when your early voting starts. And again, if you need to know about your candidates, let's see, there we go. Let's do the rolling on the road this time. Go to vote.org, 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 and it's the National Candidate Directory. Please go there. Please go there and put in your city and your state, and it'll tell you everybody who's running so that you get an opportunity to look. So you have about 10 days before early voting starts on the 26th to be able to look at the candidates and to make an educated decision. And we have 10 more shows to go about getting out the vote. We're doing grassroots, grass tops, community leaders, non-leaders, anybody in the state of Michigan. We're working on right now, trying to pull together all of the NAAC presidents in the swing states is what we're working on right now, so that you have an opportunity to hear from them, to get a word of encouragement, because there are 93 electoral votes that those 7 swing states will determine who our president is going to be. So if it's that important at the top, imagine how important it is down here on the local and state level. So what we're speaking about right now in this moment, what I just said, is for all 50 states, not just for the state of Michigan. But please go to vote.org, vote.org, and please look up your candidates. Please, 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 please educate yourself. Take the time. Turn off that reality TV. Mm-hmm. It'll still be there. You can watch the replay. Please get off of TikTok for 15 minutes. Guess what? You can go back to that person that you like following. You can find that video that's being passed around. And when you get the information, spread it just like you do an Instagram post, a TikTok post, a Facebook post. Spread it. I know a lot of y'all want to put yourself down as a content creator. Create some good content, okay? Okay, this is some content that needs to be in your creation. Get. So I challenge all of you. If I can do this with this one little hand and these little fingernails, see, I use my little stylus. That's how I get stuff done. I'll talk about my little bad hand. See that right there? It's just pretty. Just pretty. If I can get the word out, you can get the word out. And I am proof of there is no excuse to participate. I ran out there, wheelchair and all, showing up, showing up. We want to thank you so much, Miss Kathi Harris, for all the work that you have done since 2004 and probably even before then. That's 20 years that you have put in. And I tip my hat, my hair. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. to you, and I tell you thank you. And it's an honor and a privilege as a United States Navy veteran that you are my sister in arms. I got your six, and together we gonna lock arms. Okay, I guess what you can hold on to my wheelchair chair. That's my arm, and we're gonna get out in these streets together. I'll give you a day next week and a
All right.
time that we can get together, and I'll be out here in this wheelchair, and I'm gonna look. Y'all gonna see me twirling around, and I'm honking my horn. Hey, you ready for the vote?
Was that the horn?
That was my horn.
Okay.
I got a horn. I got some hazards. I got some right turn, left turn, and some headlights. So I'm gonna have it all on, flashing.
I will say that there is going to be, this is going to be an interesting election. Anyone that wants to volunteer with us, you can contact us at any of the phone number or the email. But in whatever city you're in, if there's anything that you can do to help with this election, please do that. Whether it's being a challenger, being a poll watcher, being somebody delivering food, being somebody that's trying to keep the people in line, keeping them motivated, whatever you can do will be a great help. We already know there's going to be some chaos at the polling sites. Maybe not everyone, but there's going to be some troubles. We want to be ready. So please do whatever you can do to help.
And we want you to stay safe. Tune in on tomorrow. Miss Kathi and I are going to get together and we're going to pull some folks in from Muskegon. We're going to move some people that already had steps. So again, I'm apologizing. It's about getting out the vote. We have more than 39,000 folks that are not registered just in 2 cities here in Michigan. I'm not sure what your numbers are. I'm sure we can pull them up. But you can do what I do. Boom. Just get on. If you don't do anything but go live.
Yeah.
Woo, from different places in your city, make it do what it do. Use that phone for something other than, you know what y'all do. I know what y'all do. We got to get out the vote, and we have to invest in our own futures. We got to invest and not wait on everybody else to do what we need to do, because we have the lived experiences. So we need to start talking to each other, and we need to start sharing. There's going to be plenty of videos for you guys to start sharing. We've already got 2. We got 10 more to go. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. And me and Miss Kathi are going to talk about where do we need to go next. Again, I'm apologizing on TV, on social media. I'm apologizing that it's not about personality. It is about getting out the vote. So if I have to move you so that we can get into areas that nobody necessarily wants to get into, we're gonna do that. We're gonna get in here down and dirty and get these folks, and we're gonna do this together. All right. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 4 p.m.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.